Okay. All right. Okay, now I'm on. Okay, that was so weird. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, so now you can hear me. Okay, so yes, welcome back to my channel. This is Candace of the Loving You Lifestyle. And I'm so happy that I think that this thing is working. So we're going to jump right into our topic. When you all couldn't hear me, I was talking about what we did today for Self Care Sunday, which is really just have our family brunch. And I'll be glad when we won't have the curfew anymore, and then we can invite our friends over for um, for our family and friends brunch that we do every Sunday. So, anyways, jumping into our topic, it is the viewer's choice that I did, and the topic that I chose from the viewers who responded is balancing hypergamous dating while achieving professional goals. And I think that's a great topic to talk about because a lot of women get very confused on how to do that because we live in a society where masculine attributes are celebrated, and most women function in their masculine energy, and they feel the need to show up in that energy in order to be successful. And then when they leave their jobs, um, they're still in that energy. And that, of course, doesn't give you the polarity that you need when you're dating. You know, you really want to feel on, you want to feel juicy, you want to be in your feminine flow when you're dating. Especially, I think, a high achieving man. When you have a man that's a very high achiever and he's highly in his masculine, he doesn't want to go on a date with another man. He wants that soft, feminine energy from you as a woman. So, number one, I think how you balance it off, I want to first talk about proximity because this is something that's not really talked about as it pertains to um, dating. And in the hypergamies, many hypergamy circles, people talk down against women going for their professional goals. And I say this, like, if you want to date hypergamously or isogamously, that's something we don't talk about, isogamy. And I encourage you all to practice isogamy if you're a successful woman that's doing well. Anyways, proximity is key. These men that you want to date hypergamously or isogamously are easier, you have easier access to if you are in circles where they are, including professional circles. So leverage your being in these circles to have access to these men. Okay, so that's one. Let me just make sure. Okay. I'm just making sure y'all can hear me. Number two, be deeply in tune with your energy shift. So, if you are in a career that is a little bit more masculine or requires a little bit more of your masculine energy, you need to be deeply aware of that. And then you need to have practices that you can do once you're off of work, off the clock, or done with your tasks to be able to shut that off, to be able to completely shut it off so that you can immediately get into your feminine flow and start feeling juicy. And that can range from music to um, dancing to maybe changing your clothes after you get off of work, a number of things. But make sure that you find some sort of energy shift practices that you can do that will help you to shift. And then this, like I said, being very aware of yourself and when you're in masculine can help you to shift as well. Number three, Understanding the power of feminine leadership qualities and feminine presence in the workplace. You don't have to lead in your masculine. And I think that's the number one problem for a lot of women nowadays is they feel the need to lead in their masculine. Feminine leadership is needed, and feminine leadership can also allow you the capability to pursue excuse me, ladies, to pursue your career without necessarily having to compromise your femininity. I'm taking a sip of my tea. So try that angle as well. Bring the feminine, bring your energy, bring attention to aesthetics, bring the attention to um, how you make people feel, amongst other feminine leadership qualities that are available for you to tap into as a feminine woman. It's going to feel good and it's going to feel natural for you. So, yes, make sure to do that and bring that to your workplace. Number four, when dating, fall deeply into your feminine. That means when you are with the guy that you're on a date with, that you're completely in your feminine. Be able to throw off everything. Make sure that you are uber feminine, that you're wearing the clothes that makes you feel most feminine, that you're wearing undergarments that make you feel sexy, sensual, and pretty, that your hair and your outward beauty um, is just shining, and that you're really bringing all of that energy to the forefront of the table when you're on your dates. And also, I encourage you to check your energy level before you go on your dates or before you even book your dates. I know for me, and this is something I'm writing about in my next book, and that is also make sure when you're scheduling your dates, know your cycle, know your menstrual cycle, and schedule your dates around the times where you're going to be naturally more in your feminine essence. That will also help you to get into that feminine flow while you're dating. Personally, I do not schedule dates when I am in my luteal, at the end of my luteal phase, because that's when I'm right on the cusp of starting my period. And honestly, like, I'm just not at my best. I'm just not at my best during that time of the month. And so, really, I don't want to be on a date when I'm in that mood. I want to be like a little bit further along in my cycle when I'm scheduling my dates. And if a man happens to schedule a date, wants to see me during that time, I'm like, listen, I'm not feeling my best. Let's schedule a date for, a little bit. I'll give a date later out. My schedule's really booked right now and I'm going to need some time. And they usually understand. They're going to have to understand. So, number five, don't lead with your professional accolades and achievements. This is also a big no no, and I think a big no no and a big turn off for that, a mistake rather, that a lot of women do, and it's a big turn off for high achieving men. It's not that, and hear me out when I say this, it's not that you necessarily downplay the fact that you have a degree, but you just don't dwell on it and you just don't lead with that energy. Focus rather on why and how those things and your professional achievements and where you're going professionally makes you feel. Focus on the passion. That's the key. So instead of saying, oh, yes, well, you know what, I have a PhD from Harvard and, really strong leaning into that, talk about the whys, the passion. You know what, I got a PhD in women's health studies. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't even know if that's a thing, because I'm very passionate about helping women to be in tune with their bodies so that they can be the best that they can be, and it makes me feel very, beautiful to assist women on their journey in that way. That's the energy that you want to lead in. I don't care what it is. And even if I think that's the best way to do it when you're, excuse me, when we're talking about a professional, you as a professional woman leading into conversation with a high achieving man. I also think that this is kind of controversial, but if you're with a man who's a very strong provider, I also recommend that you also make it known that, or at least demonstrate that you can be flexible. Because if you have a man that's very clear about where his life path is, he's going to want a woman that's on board. And if you are really adamant about your career goals, that could really clash. So, I think know where you are too when it comes to your career. Are you reaching the end of that where you want to focus on nurturing a family? Or are you making ways to be able to still pursue your passions while while also making that space to nurture your family, be there for your husband? Because, I mean, you don't want to be so focused on your career that you're in a sexless, passionless, lifeless marriage because you're too focused on you. You know, so that's something else to consider as well. And let's move on to number 6, use professional networking as a time to connect with men. So if you're going to a convention, if you're going to, um, I don't care what it is, like any sort of professional convention, meeting, etc., make sure that you are using that time to connect with high achieving men. I mean, like I said, proximity is key. The closer you are in physical proximity with these men, the better chance you have of dating and marrying hypergamously and isogamously. So make sure you're looking nice. Make sure you've got your pedicure. Make sure you've got your nice little pencil skirts. Look the parts. Like, this is your time to shine. Because honestly, what I find is 9 times out of 10, most women, honestly, they're going to come dressed boring. They're going to come dressed down. They are afraid of their sensual power and their femininity in spaces where there are lots of men because they don't see that as power. They see that as weakness. But you, on the other hand, can feel empowered in that and bring that to those events and get some nice little business cards, that are different, that are more, I want to say personal, add a more personal touch so that you can give them out. And the same thing, this is number 7, with your networking profiles online. Set up your professional networking profiles, like LinkedIn, Internations, etc., with pictures that show that you're feminine, fun, and not 100% focused on business. I know that this works, and the reason why I know that this works is because I get inboxed a lot by men to go on dates. And when I talk to other women who are on the same platforms, they are telling me that this never happens to them. And I did not realize that this was not happening to other women. I literally thought, like, I was like, oh, well, I'm assuming that this is happening to all women. And then when I found out that it wasn't, I just kind of snuck a peek at some of the ladies' profiles, and I could see why. Like I said, most women are just boring. They're bringing very boring energy. There's nothing about their profiles that stands out. They're very like type A. It's boring. Like it's just boring. So don't be boring, ladies. Like spice up a little bit. Like it's okay to wear, make sure your hair is nice and done, that you have on some makeup, that you're wearing an outfit that's, not something like that's fashion nova, but something that's a little bit, more sensual and but classy in your picture, and that you have a look on your face that says, you know what, I'm mysterious, I'm sensual, I'm feminine, I'm fun. And that will draw men into your profile, and men will reach out to you. I'm telling you, I have men reaching out to me on these platforms all the time, specifically to take me out. Like, that's the only reason why they're contacting me. And so I'm passing along those words of wisdom to you guys. So let's move on to number 8, and that is make time to go out on at least 1 to 2 dates per week. Right now, COVID has everybody messed up when it comes to dating. So just make sure that you're communicating with a lot of gentlemen right now. I would probably say double the number of men that you're communicating with right now, because one, a lot of men are at home or working from home. Two, you're gonna have to weed out a lot more men that are thirsty for sex and just plain old bored. So that's why you're gonna have to double up on your numbers. And then you can do virtual dates. Um, if you're in an area like mine where um, restaurants only have to-go service, don't let that be an excuse. Like, I know a lot of men like, well, what are we gonna do? Oh my God. Like, there's nowhere to go. Like, you can still pick us up some lunch, and we can go sit on a park bench and eat. Like, that's literally the only thing we have to do nowadays. Like, literally is pick up food, go on long walks, go to the park. That's it. But just let's meet up at the park, or let's no, like that's so boring. So, um, you might have to gently suggest those types of dates, and then virtual dates too will be good as well. So, and I talked about this in another video earlier this year, about grocery store dates, and you can do that at your discretion. But I was doing those toward the beginning of the year because a lot of gentlemen were saying the same thing, like, "What are we gonna do? There's nothing to do." I was like, "Well, I mean, I need groceries, and you were gonna take me to dinner anyways, so we could just meet up at the grocery store. We can talk, we can walk." Um, and you can buy me groceries in lieu of dinner. And I had that a few times, like 5 or 6 times. I had that the grocery store dates. So just keep all those avenues open. And then, of course, you're going to, excuse me, want to be safe with COVID. So make sure you just use your own discretion. That's all I'm going to say. Um, what else? Yes, number 10. Or number 9, 10, because that number 9 was really about just being like COVID friendly. Like I said, many men are bored, and knowing how to leverage that. So you're gonna have to weed all those guys out. So number 10, ask men for advice and help and mentorship. Oh, great. You guys can hear me. Perfect. So yes, so make sure that you're reaching out to men for help, for advice. Men love when women ask them for advice, and, you know, appreciate and value their knowledge and skill set. Do that, like, hey, do you think you could show me how to do this? Or do you think you could help me do this? As long as provided you don't come with the energy that you're competing with him. Because if you're very competitive and you have very competitive energy, or you are in direct competition with him, then that could be a problem. But as long as you're not in a position where you're going to be competing with him, then by all means, you can do that. And then the last tip that I have for you all for this viewer's choice topic is make sure to have a very solid feminine self-care routine because like I said, when you are um, a professional woman, it's easy to get so busy that you neglect yourself, and you don't want to do that. Stay polished. Make sure that your hair, your makeup, your nails, your hygiene, all of that is taken care of. Look your best, feel your best, work out. That is not just about your outward appearance, but make sure to take the time to work out, to to get good nutrition, that you're taking your mental health supplements, that you are, like I said, the level up is multifaceted, that you're just dealing with you. And then this is like a bonus tip. I want you all to know that you are good enough, and that don't live in the energy of what I like to call the pick me energy, where you're always trying to worry about, are you qualifying to be with these guys? Make sure that you are leading with the energy that you're confident and that you're qualifying them. Because ultimately, I think the ideal situation is to be with a man where you all are choosing each other. And I know that's the situation that I want to be in. So, anyways, ladies, those are my tips for hypergamous dating and also pursuing your professional careers. If you all have any questions, I look forward to seeing them in the comments. I will leave links to all my favorite things in the information box. And as always, you ladies take care, and I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.